In the midst of an argument on the bus, the school bully blurted out that he wanted to break up. I scoffed. Between the two of us, you're the most annoying. The school bully was taken aback, then angrily asked me who the other person was. I babbled. The student council president, 185 cm tall, handsome with long legs, better than you in every way, haha. The next moment, the guy in the gray hoodie sitting next to me took off his headphones and pulled down his mask. He coughed lightly. Just to correct you, my height is 186.14. Oh my God, I was just making things up and got caught red-handed by the actual person. Friday after school. Leon Chapman and I had a huge fight on the bus. The men and women in the other half of the bus stood around, ears perked, intently soaking in the drama. Clara Davies, can you stop overthinking things like that? Tiffany Allen is just a good friend of mine. There were no seats left, so we stood by the aisle. Leon Chapman had one hand in his pocket, his face full of anger. Outside the window, a line of fresh green trees fell behind us. The wind messed up the hair on Leon Chapman's forehead, revealing his cold and impatient face. Good friends. How good of friends do you have to be to use matching avatars in a game? I mocked him, exposing him mercilessly. If I hadn't just seen Tiffany Allen post screenshots of the game and her game profile, I wouldn't have known that Leon Chapman's in-game cat avatar was part of a pair. Fine. To my face, he wished me good night. Behind my back, he played games with his good friend of the opposite sex until midnight. It's because you didn't want to play. What's wrong with me playing with her? I only see Tiffany Allen as a good friend. What more do you need me to explain? What does a matching game avatar prove? Are you overly suspicious, or are you delusional? Stop making trouble for no reason. Leon Chapman frowned, his face full of weariness. I was utterly shocked. How could he be so shameless? He completely turned the situation around and blamed everything on me. I was so angry I wanted to slap him. Just as I raised my hand, the bus arrived at a traffic light intersection. Bus driver Miller was in such a hurry, as if someone was going to snatch his meal. He didn't slow down gradually, but slammed on the brakes suddenly. Before the slap could land on Leon Chapman's face, I uncontrollably spun 180 degrees, almost falling into the arms of the guy sitting next to me. The guy was wearing headphones and had his eyes closed, seemingly resting. Most of his face was covered by a mask. His long, thick eyelashes quietly drooped. Fortunately, I held onto the handrail tightly, so I didn't fall onto him. As soon as I regained my balance, Leon Chapman spoke again. If you insist on thinking that way, there's nothing I can do. Then we should separate and calm down for a while. This is your choice, remember. I was so angry that I actually calmed down. He wanted to use a breakup to make me compromise. Let's break up then. There are thousands of handsome guys out there. If not him, I'll find another. But I couldn't lose momentum and stumble for nothing. I laughed in anger. I licked my lips, then sighed, helplessly shaking my head. Let's break up. You're the most annoying one between the two of us. What? Leon Chapman was stunned. After reacting, his expression suddenly turned ugly. Clara Davies, dating me isn't enough, you're seeing someone else too. You're wrong, he's the main one, I just haven't made it public yet. You're the third party who pursued me and interfered in our relationship. I sighed and bitterly rebuked him. The crowd, who had watched the entire scene unfold, couldn't sit still. They pointed and sighed that young people nowadays really have fun. Me, I'm the third party. Leon Chapman felt as if he'd been struck by lightning, so dazed his head spun. Then his face flushed scarlet from the back of his neck to his cheeks. He grabbed my arm and angrily shouted. Clara Davies, you're despicable. You're toying with me. Tell me who he is. Who is he? What am I worse at than him? Tell me now. Watching him slowly crumble brought me immense satisfaction. I shook his hand off and fabricated a story. Julian Hayes from the law school. The student council president, 185 cm tall, handsome, long legs, better than you in every way, haha. There's always someone better. Let's see how you dare to compare yourself to him. No sooner had I finished speaking than Leon Chapman still hadn't recovered. The guy, who had been sleeping with his eyes closed beside me, suddenly took off his headphones. His slender fingers pulled down his mask, revealing the striking features of his face. He coughed lightly, his clear voice resonating. Just to clarify, my height is 186.14. Among students at Brown University, there was no one who didn't know who Julian Hayes was. He was handsome, academically brilliant, and the idol of the entire school. His demeanor was cold, upright, like a celestial being descended to earth. He was completely different from the school bully, Leon Chapman. I didn't know much about him personally, but I knew his face. Oh my God. I was just making things up and got caught red-handed by the actual person. That. My mind was a mess. I felt so guilty and embarrassed that I didn't know what to say. Leon Chapman's face gradually turned foul. He coldly snorted, "Julian Hayes, is she really your girlfriend?" She and I. Julian Hayes raised an eyebrow and calmly looked at me. It's over. I'm about to be slapped in the face by his denial. If that green tea bitch Tiffany Allen found out, she would definitely spread rumors behind my back, and everyone would laugh at me. At this critical moment, I tried to steady my mind, and my brain went into overdrive. Hi, my love, what a coincidence you're here too. I showed off my standard 8 teeth and smiled sweetly. I affectionately grabbed Julian Hayes's jacket and, turning my back to Leon Chapman, looked at him intently, silently pleading. Don't expose me. Please, Julian Hayes. It took so much effort for me to be so bold in front of Leon Chapman. Please cooperate with me, hoo-hoo-hoo. I'll definitely repay your kindness. At my teary-eyed expression, Julian Hayes's handsome eyebrows subtly furrowed. A few seconds of silence. He paused and gently changed his words. Her relationship with me is exactly what you think it is. At the bus stop. On the sidewalk, Leon Chapman stood in front of Julian Hayes and me, hands in his pockets, gritting his teeth as he said, Fine, I wish you two a long and happy relationship. I glared at him, then looked up and pouted at Julian Hayes, batting my eyelashes. Sweetheart, are you happy? I can finally give you a proper title. Those others are just passing players. No one can compare to you. I like you the most. Leon Chapman's face grew even darker. I hope you two break up tonight. He let out a cold laugh, his body temperature seeming to drop further. As if unable to bear it any longer, he spat out these words and then walked away. Wait, don't go, I called out to him. Oh, so you still can't leave me after all. Leon Chapman stopped and raised an eyebrow, looking smugly at Julian Hayes. You're overthinking it. I meant don't walk, you're too slow. Run quickly and get out of my sight. After Leon Chapman left with a dark expression, I stopped smiling. I put my hands together in front of my chest and quickly apologized to Julian Hayes, who had been silently by my side until then. Student Julian, I'm sorry. I spoke out of turn because I got carried away. Leon Chapman values his reputation the most, so don't worry. He definitely won't tell anyone about the story I made up. I guarantee I'll never cause you any trouble. I also want to thank you for cooperating with me. Thank you very much. It's okay, Julian Hayes nodded politely. The midsummer evening breeze was gentle. With the cool refreshment of sea salt lemon soda, it could blow away the day's dullness. He wore simple black pants and sneakers. Above, a loose gray hoodie was unzipped to his chest, revealing a bit of a white t-shirt collar and a captivating collarbone. Tall and slender build. His whole presence was quiet yet still drew attention. I really wanted to bite him. He was beautiful both inside and out. Oh, where could I find such a good person again? Student Julian, let me treat you to dinner. Julian Hayes declined. I pleaded again and again, until he finally pointed to a convenience store not far away and said helplessly, "No need for a meal, just treat me to an ice cream." After buying the ice cream, I added Julian Hayes's contact information. How could one ice cream be enough? I'll definitely treat him to dinner if I get the chance in the future. I said goodbye to him and took a taxi back to school. Originally, tonight I wanted to go to the forest park with Leon Chapman to watch fireflies. He didn't want to ride his cool motorbike, saying it would be sweeter to take the bus together. Unexpectedly, we argued and broke up on the way. I sadly opened WeChat and checked moments. Tiffany Allen had just posted a new update. "Don't be sad, a breakup isn't a big deal. I'll always be by your side, hug, hug." Disgusting. That little green tea bitch finally got what she wanted. Every single word radiated her hidden joy. I couldn't swallow this resentment. My eyes suddenly welled up with tears. I fiercely typed the following comment. "I'll play the Suona for your mother Tilda." After 2 days of feeling emo, I fell into a state of depression. Monday at 8 a.m. was even worse. After school in the afternoon, as I was walking around the playground for some fresh air, I unexpectedly ran into Leon Chapman again. He was playing basketball with a sullen expression, as if to vent his anger, his jersey drenched. He seemed to be in a terribly bad mood. Tiffany Allen was sitting on a rest bench, holding a cup of mineral water and smiling at Leon Chapman. I bowed my head and walked away. Leon Chapman seemed to have eyes in the back of his head. He saw me, took a long shot, and the basketball flew into the hoop. He walked over and stood a few steps away from me. "Clara Davies, why are you here alone? Where's your boyfriend? Why aren't you with him?" I replied, "He's not as idle as you are." Tiffany Allen, afraid we would reconcile, quickly ran over. "Clara Davies, you have a new boyfriend already. That was fast. But why do you look so bad? You're not breaking up again, are you?" She looked me up and down and quietly exclaimed, "Shut up, can you act a little less like your hair?" A fire burned in my chest. I stared at her head and sneered. Tiffany Allen was hit by the remark, almost crumbling. She was almost unable to maintain her expression, feigning a tone as she said, "Clara Davies, no matter what you think, Leon Chapman and I are innocent. You misunderstood. You don't need to pretend. You really did misunderstand us. Shake your brain thoroughly before you open your mouth." After I retorted, Tiffany Allen was speechless. She turned to look at Leon Chapman, her voice sounding tearful. "Why is your ex-girlfriend like this? When did you become so rude? Last time you also cursed at Tiffany Allen in her friend group, Clara Davies. Apologize now." Leon Chapman frowned and scolded me. "You know what? You must be crazy to make me apologize." I didn't want to waste any more time, so I turned and left. Leon Chapman consoled a distressed, sobbing Tiffany Allen for a few words, then strode to catch up with me. At the corner of the avenue, he held my wrist, refusing to let go. He hesitated, asking, "Did you and Julian Hayes really break up?" "To disappoint you, no." Leon Chapman's face suddenly darkened. He suddenly remembered something, curled the corner of his lip, and smiled maliciously. "It seems I've never seen him on the basketball court. What's the use of being just 2.4 cm taller than me? He looks quite weak. Clara Davies, it's not worth it for you to leave me for him." "What's so great about being able to play basketball?" I asked scornfully. "Then why did you praise me before? You watched me play basketball and blushed. Clara Davies, don't be so stubborn." Leon Chapman didn't believe me, slowly smiling. Indeed, I was being stubborn. During the basketball tournament, my roommate invited me to watch. I went crazy for Leon Chapman, who was furiously dribbling on the court. Coincidentally, I saw him looking for a wet towel to wipe off his sweat after the game, so I approached, blushing, and handed him one. After the game, Leon Chapman proactively added me on WeChat and started pursuing me. I never imagined that being with him for 5 months would end so bafflingly. I blushed, but I blushed ****you. So what do you mean when I can't say sweet words? I can only talk to basketball. The happiest thing is having the ball on the court and you off the court. Basketball is love, and you are priority. You don't know how sickening every single one of your words is. I'm embarrassed for you. I resolutely refused to acknowledge it. I firmly pulled my hand away from his and sneered. But I'm better than Julian Hayes. He doesn't even know how to play basketball. Leon Chapman flared up. You're truly shameless. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Anyone who followed him knew how outstanding Julian Hayes was. Leon Chapman actually had the nerve to say he was stronger. My Julian can play the piano, practice calligraphy, tea ceremony, painting, horse riding, and fencing. He has a handsome face, beautiful hands, long legs, good academic results, good character, and a good temperament. His entire body exuded elegance from head to toe. From looks to height, physique to education, how can you even compare? You're such an immature kid, comparing yourself to him, making a fool of yourself. My face showed disgust, and my mouth just kept going. Leon Chapman stood opposite me, as if struck by lightning. His eyes were dull, his lips trembling, speechless. The more I spoke, the bolder I became, pressing on with my advantage. Look at yourself, you're a stinky, sweaty idiot. Like a piece of fatty pork belly, glistening under the sun. Do you think you're so handsome because of your hormones? Are your eyes in your butt? My Julian is different from you. He's very fragrant and soft. I can hug him every day. Leon Chapman's defenses were shattered once more. His face was pale, and his tall frame seemed about to collapse. I felt refreshed, leaving him standing there after the heavy onslaught, tossing my ponytail as I walked away. Just as I turned to leave, my steps suddenly halted. There was a group of people standing not far away. With student council work badges pinned to their chests and notebooks in hand, they looked like they were inspecting equipment around campus. Julian Hayes stood in the middle, his white shirt tucked into black pants. He had a straight nose and thin lips, a lean waist and long legs, looking very attractive and eye-catching. His earlobes were slightly red. His eyelashes fluttered gently like spring butterfly wings. He looked at me, pursed his lips, and softly asked, "Fragrant and soft." Hi, what a coincidence. My vision went dark. I struggled against the urge to cover my face and run, slowly forcing a stiff smile. It's over. Julian Hayes's pristine reputation has been ruined by me. Wah, my fault. Both times I spoke nonsense, I was caught by the actual person. This time, many people heard it, and I was eager to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. You two really kept it a secret. When did you get together? So sweet. God, Julian, I want that too. Someone joked, laughing. Julian Hayes handed the notebook in his hand to the person next to him. He glanced at Leon Chapman, who still hadn't recovered from the shock, then slowly walked over. Clara Davies, are you free now? Yes, I answered curtly, not even daring to look up at him. The cicadas were noisy, and the tree shadows were dense. I walked beside Julian Hayes and weakly apologized. Student Julian, I'm truly sorry, don't worry, I'll clarify things. The redness on the tip of Julian Hayes's ears hadn't faded yet. It's okay, no need to explain. The wind carried his gentle voice and pleasant scent. Unlike the perfume that scum Leon Chapman usually sprayed, Julian Hayes exuded a cool and sweet fragrance. I was startled. I mean, there's no need to apologize because you treated me to ice cream yesterday, so I had to cooperate with you, Julian Hayes explained. He's too kind. I once again sighed at Julian Hayes's kindness. Thank you, student Julian, but I don't want to affect you. Don't worry, I'll never talk nonsense again. All I could do was cross 2 fingers and swear to the sky. Julian Hayes said nothing, After a moment of silence, he suddenly stopped. He leaned down to look at me, his voice very gentle and a little troubled. Are the emojis I sent really ugly and disgusting? What? I was dazed again. Confused, I quickly took my phone out of my pocket and opened WeChat. In the chat box between Julian Hayes and me, there were only a few messages, as we had only added each other that day. I'm Julian Hayes from the law school. I'm Clara Davies from the School of Information Technology. Attached was a hello emoji with a smirking smile. Almost half an hour later, the other person slowly replied with a hello emoji featuring a cartoon puppy waving. Don't send me ugly and disgusting things anymore. Help me, this is a misunderstanding. At that time, I was so angry with Tiffany Allen that I had a headache. A few of Leon Chapman's friends had taken pictures of him sitting in a pub with a lonely back and sent them to me. Pretending to be heartbroken. I felt nauseous and typed this line in anger. Then I copied and pasted it to everyone who had sent a recent message. I was blind. It was also sent to Julian Hayes. No, I sent it by mistake. The puppy is really cute, not ugly at all. If we're talking disgusting, the emoji asterisk I sent you is disgusting. Julian Hayes, don't pay it any mind. My face flushed red as I tried my best to explain. He hummed, his expression relaxed. You can just call me by my name. He paused, then added, the lop-eared rabbit in your avatar is very cool. Oh my God, he even noticed my avatar. I was flattered, blinked, and excitedly replied, this is the logo I designed for our band. A band? Yes, I formed a band called Cold Rabbit. I'm the lead singer, and the members are all students from different departments. You're really talented. I acted shy at the compliment. I casually said, it would be great if the school held a music festival. Everyone could relax, and we'd get a chance to perform. Julian Hayes nodded and said gently, that's a good idea. I'll propose it to Principal Sterling. He truly moved me to tears. I hesitated for a moment. Principal Sterling won't scold you, will he? No, Principal Sterling is very kind. Julian Hayes curved his lips and smiled gently, his eyes clear and bright. This was the first time I'd seen him smile. His smile shot straight into my heart. Julian Hayes, who looked like a celestial being descended to earth, actually had a snaggletooth. The post on the school forum about Julian Hayes's love life went viral. The poster revealed that they had seen God Julian's girlfriend being harassed by a scumbag. The scumbag even made rude remarks and wanted to compare himself to God Julian. God Julian's girlfriend assertively defended her husband, leaving the other guy utterly crushed. Many people who heard the news rushed to watch the drama unfold. Pure love girl, God Julian is no longer single. I'm angrily eating 2 bowls of Malatang. Sobbing. Taobao's hound, I'm so worried. Who is God Julian with? Which major? What's her name? Brown University male model wholesaler sister Hayes AAA. Investigate, report. Professor Wright with no hair on his head. I was at the scene, but I can't say because God Julian ordered me to keep quiet. Tilda, mischievous. Half an hour later, after more than 1,000 comments had been built up, the original poster finally appeared and wrote a comment. God Julian doesn't allow people to talk nonsense. I've had to hold it in for a long time, and I can only reveal this. I lay in my dorm room, blushing intensely as I listened to my roommates' lively discussions. Julian Hayes had truly considered all aspects. He didn't expose me, nor did he let me be embarrassed in front of Leon Chapman. And he protected me from being criticized by others. Why was he so good? So good that I almost wanted to cry. I sniffled and opened the chat box with him. Hesitating for a moment, I respectfully typed, "Thank you," and sent it. The other person quickly replied, with an emoji of a puppy presenting flowers. Cute and silly. I had an inexplicable trust in Julian Hayes, and I always felt that the music festival could be organized. There were many empty classrooms in an old building at school, so I asked a teacher to register one. After school, I practiced with the band members. Less than half an hour into the evening, that green tea bitch Tiffany Allen continuously knocked on the door, looking for trouble. Clara Davies, we're reciting poetry in the next room. Your voice is too loud, how can we continue? Then you change rooms. We were here first anyway, I said without looking up. After being interrupted by her several times, I lost all mood to practice. All the members went to dinner, but I didn't go back. I stayed alone to organize the instruments and equipment. Tiffany Allen came to bother me again. The lights are broken. The road outside the building is very dark. Leon Chapman is coming to pick me up soon. You can come with us. What are you barking about? I glared at her. With no one else around, Tiffany Allen stopped pretending, her expression dark. Clara Davies, do you know how much I hate you? I liked Leon Chapman, but you stepped in and dated him. Now you two have broken up, but he still can't forget you. I already knew what she was thinking. Every time I went out with Leon Chapman, out of 10 times, he would call Tiffany Allen 8 times. Saying Tiffany Allen was his good friend, I shouldn't overthink it. I saw no ambiguous behavior from them, so I believed them. Until one time playing Truth or Dare, Tiffany Allen lost. Someone asked if she liked anyone, and she pointed at Leon Chapman, laughing and saying it was him. Before anyone could react, Tiffany Allen changed her mind and said she was just joking. That evening, she posted a meaningful update on Moments. How many truths and jokes are there in a lifetime? I was so angry that I screenshotted it and sent it to Leon Chapman. A moment later, he replied to me. He said Tiffany Allen didn't mention that she said she liked him, and that I was just overthinking it. At that moment, my head was spinning, and I believed him once again. Many people hate me. Who do you think you are? You can hate me to death. You're truly the kind whose guts are connected to their brain. I sneered. Tiffany Allen grew angry out of embarrassment. I'll rip your mouth off. She crossed her arms, then lifted her leg and kicked the bass guitar leaning against the wall. She took a few steps forward, grabbed my shoulder with one hand and pushed me against the wall, while with the other hand, she pinched my chin hard. Her long fingernails dug deep into my skin, the pain making me instantly cry out. I didn't expect her to dare to do that. Not to be outdone, I grabbed her hair and pulled hard. I'll make you bald. Tiffany Allen was in pain and raised her hand to hit me. Tiffany Allen. Footsteps sounded outside the door. It was Leon Chapman. Hearing his voice, Tiffany Allen changed her mind again. She suddenly let go of me, slapped herself in the face, and started crying. Clara Davies, Leon Chapman and I are completely innocent. You two have already broken up. Why are you hitting me? Good acting. To win Leon Chapman's affection, slapping yourself must hurt quite a bit. I looked at the clear fingerprints on Tiffany Allen's face and was speechless. Leon Chapman heard the noise and hurriedly opened the door and came in. Clara Davies, why are you here? Why are you hitting her? Let go. I was still holding Tiffany Allen's hair when Leon Chapman, catching me off guard, pushed me, making me stumble and nearly fall. This is the practice room for our band. She came here herself looking for trouble. I pulled her hair in self-defense. She slapped herself. If you have the guts, go check the surveillance cameras. Didn't you hit me precisely because the surveillance cameras on this floor are broken? Tiffany Allen snuggled next to Leon Chapman, crying pitifully. Clara Davies, what kind of madness is this now? If Tiffany Allen and I were really together, what would it matter to you? Anger filled Leon Chapman's eyes and brows, and he lowered his voice. Moreover, what if I did have something with her? Weren't you also seeing someone else when you were with me? When he brought this up, he seemed to have enough confidence to accuse me. I told you a long time ago that forming this shoddy band is just a waste of your time. Look at the denim shorts you're wearing. Do you really want other men to see your legs? I glanced at the instruments and equipment around. then looked down at my clothes with a disgusted expression. These pieces of trash. I trembled with anger, and my fingers began to shake. I opened my mouth to curse at him, but my throat choked up, and I couldn't speak. Facing my reddened eyes, Leon Chapman turned away and said in a tense voice, "I can't let you bully others for no reason. If you don't apologize, then I'll have to tell Tiffany Allen to fight back." Tiffany Allen subtly curled her lips and smiled provocatively. I held back tears, clenched my fingers, preparing to punch this shameless bitch's face. A familiar male voice suddenly echoed from outside the door. "Who are you planning to hit?" It was Julian Hayes. Unlike his usual gentleness, his face showed no expression at this moment. He took a few steps forward and pulled me closer, his face turning cold. Leon Chapman narrowed his dark eyes and lifted his chin. "So the boyfriend came to show support, huh? But no matter who comes today, it's useless. Whoever she hit, she has to apologize to." "I didn't. She was the instigator. She slandered me." Indignation welled up in my mind, and I quickly explained to Julian Hayes. "I believe you. It's okay. Don't be afraid." He reassured me without hesitation. "The surveillance cameras on this floor were repaired a few days ago. We just need to go to security and check who hit whom." "All right, then let's go check the cameras." Leon Chapman snorted lightly and prepared to walk out. Tiffany Allen didn't move. She stood rigidly, her eyes blinking rapidly. She hadn't expected the surveillance cameras to be repaired. "Clara Davies, so it turns out you and God Julian are together." "No need to check the surveillance anymore. It's not a big deal." Tiffany Allen reluctantly smiled and appeared hesitant. She couldn't hide her guilt and panic. Leon Chapman was quite clever. He wasn't stupid. He quickly reacted, looking at Tiffany Allen in disbelief. "Did you lie to me? Did you provoke Clara Davies first?" "Tomorrow I'll check the surveillance footage and send it to your university. Wait for your appropriate punishment." Julian Hayes left these words behind, took my hand, and walked away. Walking past Leon Chapman, I suddenly remembered his words about dating. I took out my phone and held it up in front of him. "Look closely. We only added each other on WeChat after we got off the bus that day. I'm not as despicable as you. When it comes to flirting and pursuing, I'm much worse than you." The moon cast a cool light. Overhead, a broken street lamp cast dim light, and moths fluttered through the air. A moment later, I sighed, my voice choked. I always believed the saying, "Be grateful for everyone you meet in life, whether good or bad, they are all people who help you grow." But today I realized I was completely wrong. If the Buddha could come back again, I wouldn't want to meet him. Leon Chapman was a double-standard hypocrite. When dating him, I put the band aside. Because he didn't like me spending time with the band, and always said I was messing around. Conversely, he himself didn't work and just wandered around all day. He didn't like me wearing shorts or short skirts, saying he would get jealous if other guys saw me. Meanwhile, he dressed elaborately, even deliberately pulling up his clothes to wipe sweat while playing basketball, showing off his abs. I obeyed him unconditionally. But he never cared about my feelings. I increasingly lost myself, worried about gains and losses, and became more and more anxious, until I completely exploded on the bus. I secretly thanked his mother. The more I thought, the angrier I became. My tone grew angrier, and my voice suddenly rose a few pitches. Before the last word could escape, it suddenly choked in my throat, twisting and forcing me to swallow it back. Damn it, Julian Hayes was still here. Phooey phooey, can't curse. Julian Hayes stood beside me and patiently listened to what I had to say. He didn't speak until I finished. "Clara Davies, no matter who you are, you must first be yourself. How women dress is their freedom. It doesn't need anyone's approval and isn't restricted by anyone. You're great. Your band, Cold Rabbit, is also great. You look very beautiful today." The moonlight, clear and shallow, fell upon his gentle face, transforming into a stream of water. In the quiet night, Julian Hayes's eyes shone brightly, yet were exceedingly gentle. It felt wonderful to be affirmed. I cried so much I lost all self-respect, crying until I used up an entire pack of tissues. Julian Hayes quietly stayed with me, looking up and glancing around. Seeing no trash can nearby, I reached out and put the used tissue in my pocket. I cried loudly and let out all the emotions that had been suppressed for so long. After calming down, I curiously asked him why he came to the old building. Julian Hayes said he was just passing by. What a coincidence. The surveillance cameras were also repaired, saving me from a dire situation. Otherwise, I would definitely have been disparaged by that green tea bitch Tiffany Allen. Her long, sharp fingernails still hurt me. I touched my chin and couldn't help but hiss. What's wrong? She pinched me just now. Let me see. Julian Hayes leaned down and came closer, his gaze lowered, and he gently lifted my chin with his finger, looking at it seriously. His handsome face, magnified, dangled before me. As I inhaled, the incredibly sweet and cool scent made my limbs weak and my head dizzy. Your skin is torn, he frowned, carefully touching it with his fingertip. My breath caught, and I missed a few beats. I'll apply medicine. I'm going back now, I said in a low voice, then turned and ran away. The chirping of insects on the summer night was vague and prolonged, like a strange and wonderful symphony. At this moment, my heart was pounding like a drum. Running all the way back to the dorm, my cheeks were burning hot. After quickly showering and climbing into bed, I received a message from Julian Hayes. He recounted what he hadn't had a chance to tell me earlier. That Principal Sterling had agreed to host the music festival and wanted to meet me. I typed and deleted, finally biting my lip and replying with a cute rabbit, okay, emoji. The cartoon, puppy emoji sending flowers from before quickly replied to my emoji. I rolled around on the bed, then buried my head in my pillow. After school the next day, I nervously knocked on Principal Sterling's office door. The small, energetic old man was sitting on the sofa drinking tea. When he saw me enter, he enthusiastically invited me to sit down and praised my wonderful band without end. There are many extracurricular activities at school, but they're all the same. I like this music festival idea. I've looked into it a bit. The atmosphere is fantastic. I hadn't expected Principal Sterling to be as friendly and enthusiastic as Julian Hayes had said, and my small, suspended heart gradually settled. Now that I mention it, when I was young, I also wanted to be a singer. As he spoke, Principal Sterling suddenly changed the subject, his tone tinged with sadness. Student Clara, could you lead me to the music festival? I also want to participate and sing. I agreed immediately. Then I'll open the show, and your band will perform the closing act, Principal Sterling said happily, starting to plan excitedly. Is there a sweet love song trending recently? The radio plays it all the time. Oh my, it's so sweet I almost get diabetes. Is it the song Plum Jam? Yes, that's the one. Do you think I can sing this song? Principal Sterling slapped his thigh, laughing so hard his eyes disappeared. I imagined the explosive scene at that moment and heavily nodded. Yes, absolutely. Support ambitious, elderly people in pursuing their dreams once more. The music festival was scheduled for half a month later. The competition among clubs was fierce, and the band only secured one slot for one song, but I was very satisfied. This was Cold, Rabbit's first performance, and everyone took it very seriously. We reselected the songs we wanted to cover, arranged them to make the atmosphere more vibrant, and then began practicing diligently. For some reason, Leon Chapman kept wanting to cause trouble for me. Right after school, he would come to the classroom to beg me to get back together. I greeted him with such sharp words twice that he never dared to come again. He started sending me messages from different phone numbers. He said he knew he was wrong and had drawn a clear line with Tiffany Allen. asking for another chance. I don't recycle trash. Every time he called from a new number, I blocked it. My daily conversations with Julian Hayes also started to become more frequent. Most of the time, he initiated them, such as a male student at school being able to finish half a tray of food in just 1 minute, or the succulent plant grown in the dorm blooming, and a butterfly perching on his shoulder. He would share interesting small things like these with me, but I had nothing to share with him, except for the hundreds of emojis saved on my phone. Guilty, guilty. Half a month later, Brown University's music festival began. As night fell, the stage was set up, and many people continuously poured into the sports field. I hummed a song and waited for Julian Hayes at the field entrance. He said he wanted to show me something. Before I could meet him, I ran into that plague god, Leon Chapman. "Don't be embarrassed if your singing isn't good later," he said with an unpleasant tone. "A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory." "My bad singing is to save you," I snorted. "Clara Davies, can you stop scolding me?" "Oh, I'll laugh at your face forever." Leon Chapman was silent for a few seconds, his voice growing tense. "Clara Davies, let's make up. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have been ambiguous with Tiffany Allen under the guise of friendship. I'll change, please give me another chance." That day, I was just crazy with jealousy. How could I let someone else hit you? Our relationship used to be so good. We went to the zoo and amusement parks together, and you even agreed to have hot pot and go skiing with me this winter. "Are you free this weekend? I'll take you to the park to see fireflies again, okay?" His eyes sparkled with hope. "No, because I have to go with her," Julian Hayes, who arrived late, answered for me. We walked straight to the sports field. Leon Chapman refused to give up, staying by my side and repeatedly saying he was wrong. The buzzing sound was like flies, giving me a headache. Because Julian Hayes was here, I had to appear more reserved and civilized. I suppressed many sweet words from escaping my throat and tried my best to ignore him. Julian Hayes suddenly stopped. "Leon Chapman, which Chow is in your name?" "Oasis, why?" Leon Chapman lifted his chin, his expression displeased. "No wonder it has so many strokes." Subtly brilliant insults often kill without shedding blood. While Leon Chapman was stunned, thinking over these words, Julian Hayes took my wrist and led me away. I smiled all the way. I hadn't expected Julian Hayes to show such a cool demeanor when taking action. "You look very beautiful today." Julian Hayes seemed a little embarrassed and unnaturally changed the subject. I think so too." I looked down at myself and accepted his compliment generously. I had gray-pink eye makeup, and my long, wavy hair with a few silver strands flowed down my back. Calf-high socks, a short skirt, and long boots too. Both sweet and a little seductive. How could it not be beautiful? "By the way, what did you want to show me?" I suddenly remembered. Julian Hayes gestured for me to look at his clothes. Then I noticed a cool graffiti-style lop-eared rabbit drawn on his simple, clean white t-shirt. He was cheering me on. "I am Cold Rabbit's #1 fan. Clara Davies, you can do it." Julian Hayes curved his lips. Under the starry night, his beautiful eyes seemed to be filled with starlight. Principal Sterling opened the show with a small, explosive love song, immediately pushing the atmosphere to a climax. As one song ended, another began, and everyone in the audience was extremely excited. I grew more and more anxious. It was our band's turn to go on stage, and the Cold Rabbit logo was displayed on the big screen. I held the microphone, standing on the high steel platform, my palms sweating. Beneath the verdant playground was a sea of people, bustling with activity. But in the brief 10-second intro, I caught a glimpse of Julian Hayes standing in the front row. He looked up at me with a smile on his lips. The moment our eyes met, Julian Hayes pointed at the lop-eared rabbit on his t-shirt. My agitated mood strangely calmed down. I faced the evening breeze and closed my eyes. Opening them again, I steadfastly sang the first line. Strong beams of light flashed back and forth. Sound waves surged, heartbeats and drum beats overlapping. All doubts and worries were wiped away. Young, lively, restless and burning souls danced, swayed, and cheered in unison until their throats were hoarse. Under the stage lights, my soul was trembling. The last note gently fell. I felt as if I had fallen into overflowing joy. Amidst resounding applause and cheers, I panted, bowed deeply, and took a bow. The music festival ended. Julian Hayes, and I sat on the edge of the high steel platform, looking up at the night sky. The moon was very large and bright, surrounded by tiny stars. I watched for a moment, then said blankly, "It feels like it's about to fall right on me." Julian Hayes chuckled softly. "No, I'll block it in front of you as soon as it falls." Some students who hadn't left yet called out from afar, "Look, it's God Julian and his girlfriend. His girlfriend is actually Cold Rabbit's lead singer." I dangled my legs, half jokingly, half seriously, saying, "If you don't clarify our relationship, I'll spread rumors everywhere." Julian Hayes, "Go ahead, I'll find more people to spread rumors." He paused, then lowered his eyes, his eyelashes trembling, and confessed, "Clara Davies, I like you." I had realized it long ago. He was very direct. My heart pounded so hard that I shyly whispered, "Me too." Julian Hayes pursed his lips and smiled. After sitting for a while, I turned my face to stare at his thin lips and suddenly said something. "Julian Hayes, let's kiss." As soon as I said it, I immediately wanted to hit myself with a hammer. Help me, we've only been together for 5 minutes, and I'm already so eager. Julian Hayes wasn't scared away by my words either. "Oh my, I was just talking nonsense. You know how my mouth is, ha ha ha." I laughed twice, but inside I was screaming. "All right." Julian Hayes coughed lightly, the tips of his ears flushed red. Before I could react, he leaned closer and gently pressed his lips to mine. The sweet, cool fragrance intertwined with my breath between my lips and teeth, gently enveloping me. Weightless moonlight, a hot evening breeze. My head was spinning. I unconsciously thought of the phrase, fragrant and soft. Julian Hayes was truly very fragrant and soft. Fragrant as a person. Soft as his lips. I want to kiss him to death. Julian Hayes extracurricular, side story. Julian Hayes had met Clara Davies at school a long time ago. She was carrying a guitar. Her skin was very fair, and her almond eyes were large and bright. Wearing a short-sleeved top with text print and a pleated skirt, she was dressed in a classic American style. Her ponytail was tied high, and her long legs were straight and smooth. Humming softly, she walked towards the pink-orange sunset. Julian Hayes, who was rushing to a meeting, unconsciously slowed down, turned his head, and glanced a few times. An idea suddenly popped into his head. This girl is really cool. The second time he met Clara Davies was on the bus. He was going to the forest park to observe and document a freshwater herb of great interest. The bus drove smoothly on the asphalt road, windows wide open, the dullness inside the bus blown away by the cool evening breeze. Julian Hayes was a little sleepy, so he closed his eyes and listened to music. 2 minutes later, without opening his eyes, he pressed the pause button on his headphones. Someone was arguing. The sound was loud enough to overpower the sound waves in his headphones. It's human nature to watch drama unfold and enjoy the spectacle. Julian Hayes, a celestial being, couldn't avoid it either. His drowsiness gone, he listened attentively. The cause was that the boyfriend was cheating with a friend of the opposite sex and was discovered by the girlfriend. As a result, he not only used strong words, but also accused the girl of being presumptuous, even trying to break up with her to force her to compromise. Truly shameless. Julian Hayes secretly commented in his mind. 3-legged toads are hard to find, but 2-legged men run all over the streets. Fortunately, the girl didn't compromise and broke up fluently. As an outsider, he was just relieved for the girl, but immediately after, he became part of the drama. He became the undeclared main boyfriend. Julian Hayes. How did I not know? But none of this mattered. The important thing was that his height was 186.14. Adhering to strict and practical principles, he couldn't help but speak up. Looking up, he realized these two people looked familiar. Leon Chapman was very famous at school and partied wildly. Julian Hayes knew him. The other person was the girl carrying the guitar. Her name was Clara Davies. Clara Davies was very afraid Julian Hayes would expose her. She clutched his jacket, her slender wrist showing faint veins under the skin. A pair of large, red-rimmed and watery eyes. She was pleading. The bright almond eyes from their first meeting were now clouded, full of weariness and panic. Her relationship with Leon Chapman had made her very embarrassed. Julian Hayes was silent for a moment, then cooperated with her. He didn't know what he was thinking. Perhaps he just wanted to make Clara Davies happy. On the sidewalk, Clara Davies smiled and waved goodbye to him. He held his ice cream, watched the taxi leave, then sent Clara Davies a message introducing himself. "I'm Julian Hayes from the law school." The other side replied quickly. "I'm Clara Davies from the School of Information Technology." Attached was a hello emoji, a bossy one. He took a bite of ice cream and seriously searched for an emoji. After half an hour, he chose a cartoon puppy he thought was cute and sent it. Julian Hayes felt a little uneasy. He was waiting. Then he waited until Clara Davies replied, asking him not to send her ugly and disgusting things anymore. Julian Hayes. As night fell, he put away his phone. Standing by the roadside, watching cars pass by, he suddenly felt an indescribable discomfort rise within him. Perhaps he should have added the contact information of the girl with the guitar that day. Instead of realizing it after a long time and suddenly regretting it. This also made the other person not very happy. On Monday afternoon, Julian Hayes and the logistics committee were inspecting equipment around campus and accidentally ran into Clara Davies and Leon Chapman. She praised herself, saying "my Julian" and fragrant and soft. Even though he knew Clara Davies was talking nonsense, Julian Hayes couldn't help but blush. He gathered his courage to ask Clara Davies if his emoji was really ugly, and felt relieved when he got her answer. Fortunately, it was a misunderstanding. Clara Davies was so amazing that she had formed her own band called Cold Rabbit. Cool and cute. Applications for using empty buildings would be reported to the university. Julian Hayes knew Clara Davies was rehearsing in the old building. He checked if the surveillance cameras in the classrooms on that floor were broken and quickly contacted a technician for repairs. They often practiced late into the evening. There was a very dark stretch of road outside the building, with badly damaged streetlights that couldn't be repaired temporarily. Julian Hayes waited for them to finish on the first floor. He felt relieved when he saw Clara Davies walking towards the main road of the campus. Unexpectedly, that day he accidentally saw Leon Chapman bullying her. Fortunately, he was there. Clara Davies seemed to be an optimistic person with strong fighting spirit. In reality, her heart was very soft, so delicate that it could be called sensitive. She confided in him intermittently, then burst into tears. Julian Hayes seriously comforted her. She should do what she wanted, pursue her dreams, and not be bound by anything. After Clara Davies finished venting, she quickly became cheerful again. She also asked why he was in the old building. Julian Hayes said he was just passing by. Yes, it was all just a coincidence. Before he could finish speaking, Clara Davies ran off. Julian Hayes sent her a message telling her that he had mentioned the music festival to Principal Sterling, and Principal Sterling had agreed. He shyly didn't mention that Principal Sterling also teased him about whether he liked Clara Davies, with 2 out of every 3 sentences praising her. Principal Sterling, you really guessed right. On the night after the music festival ended, Julian Hayes and Clara Davies fell in love. Their relationship was very sweet. After graduation, Julian Hayes worked at a law firm. Clara Davies gave up the opportunity to be a programmer in a large company to write and release songs, spending her days in the recording studio. The beginning was always difficult. Cold Rabbit wasn't famous and wasn't making money. Some members couldn't bear it anymore and considered leaving. Clara Davies was disappointed. On one hand, she felt bad for the members. On the other hand, she felt like a failure and too idealistic. She began to doubt whether she, someone with a wild background and relying solely on her passion, was suitable to be a musician. Julian Hayes was a wonderful companion with stable emotions. He was always the first to notice Clara Davies' downturn, then diligently comforted and encouraged her. He even transferred a sum of money to all the members without telling her, asking everyone to persevere. He hoped Clara Davies could happily do what she loved and never give up. He would take care of the rest. Clara Davies' efforts finally paid off. She was a musical genius with a distinctive and unique songwriting style. Within 2 years, one song exploded and became a hit. The band Cold Rabbit had amassed a large number of passionate fans and officially debuted to the public. By that time, Julian Hayes was handling several difficult lawsuits and was already a renowned gold medal lawyer in the industry. They got engaged and lived together. Clara Davies didn't like performing frequently, so she spent most of her time at home playing with her cat and writing music. The two kept a calico cat at home, which Julian Hayes had found by the roadside. At first, it was very thin and full of wounds. After 2 months of care, it had beautiful, soft fur and rubbed against Clara Davies all day. Clara Davies also liked to act cute with Julian Hayes. Sweetie sweet Julian, fragrant and soft, why are you so good, smooch tilde. Julian Hayes couldn't resist every time. He knew all of Clara Davies' habits. She liked opening windows on rainy nights, breathing in the fresh moisture, listening to music, and watching movies. She liked reading messages from fans on her account carefully before going to bed. Sometimes Julian Hayes was very busy. Today, he didn't get home until almost 11 o'clock. The cat in the living room was still awake, squatting in its bed, purring and drinking milk. Julian Hayes walked into the bedroom. The bedside lamp was still on. Clara Davies was already asleep. On the gray marble floor under the bed was a pair of puppy-shaped cotton slippers. She was not sleeping deeply, half covered by the blanket. Wearing a pearl-colored silk nightgown, her captivating curves were visible. Next to her pillow was the notebook she used to write lyrics. Julian Hayes gently organized the notebook and placed it on the bedside table. He sat by the bed, looking at Clara Davies for a long time. Fair skin, pink lips, raven black hair. She was as beautiful as an oil painting. Julian Hayes tenderly kissed her cheek, then stood up and went to the bathroom to shower. More than half an hour later, he went to bed, feeling refreshed. Clara Davies, drowsily sensing him, didn't even open her eyes but simply rolled into his arms and quickly fell asleep. Julian Hayes touched her long hair. He wasn't in a hurry to sleep. At midnight, Cold Rabbit's new song was released on time. Julian Hayes put on his headphones and replayed the song countless times. Many fans left comments. "This world isn't worth living without Cold Rabbit." Julian Hayes thought for a moment and left another comment. "This world cannot exist without Clara Davies." Julian Hayes was Cold Rabbit's #1 fan. He was also Clara Davies' #1 fan. He walked forward with her. Behind them, the moon would never set.